Social housing in North Belfast has been a hot topic of late. The participation and the practice of rights reports that keep coming up try to justify a particular propagandist view, but regrettably they give a misleading impression of the very complex housing issues facing North Belfast. They also inaccurately and erroneously allege that there has been discrimination against Roman Catholics in the allocation of housing. The programme for government commits me to delivering 8,000 social and affordable homes by 2015, and 3 years in already, almost 7,000 have been delivered, with a further 2,500 planned for the current year. So that will see over 9,400 new homes delivered against the original target of 8,000. We're not just meeting targets, we are exceeding targets.
The Social Development Minister defending his record on social housing, and his colleague and the proposer of that debate, William Humphrey, is with me now in the studio. Evening to you. Thank you very much for joining us. There was some pretty strong criticism from the Sinn Féin and SDLP benches there today, wasn't there?
Well, I suppose there's robust exchanges in the chamber every day. The truth of the matter is it was time to put the record straight. It was time to deal with facts and not deal with the myths and, in some places, untruths that have been put out in the public domain over the last number of months.
Just last week, some North Belfast residents held an event at Stormont calling on the Executive to address long-term housing need in the Catholic community. Now, the Minister says there hasn't been discrimination against Catholics in the allocation of housing. If that's the case, why is that message not getting through? Well,
very clearly what we're about is inclusivity. We want to see equality in housing across the constituency. And unfortunately what happened was the figures were taken from one office, a housing executive office in North Belfast, the North Belfast office, left out the Shankill and Newtonabbey 1 and 2. So we want to look at the constituency holistically and want to see everyone in North Belfast treating equally, and we want to see housing dealt with on an equal basis across the constituency. Regardless of people's background, regardless of their religion, regardless of their political opinion.
OK, but how do you answer Carol Killen's very specific charge there that the DUP is inflating the sense of Protestant disadvantage in North Belfast and playing down the Catholic need? She accused the DUP of engaging today of gerrymandering.
Well, she would say that, wouldn't she? We are dealing with facts here, Mark. The waiting list is 50-50, housing stress, similar figures, and so therefore people, regardless, as I've said, regardless of where they're from politically, where they're from in terms of their religion, where they're from geographically in North Belfast, have to be treated equally. And those people who were being served by the housing executive offices in Shankill and Newtonabbey 1 and 2 were simply not being taken into account. And the pressure that we've put on, led by Nigel Dodds, our Member of Parliament, has actually exposed here what exactly has been going on, that figures are being taken and on those figures from one office in North Belfast led to the generation of a waiting list that was false.
Do you not think it's unfortunate that it comes down to a sectarian headcount?
Absolutely, and that's why we're about inclusivity. We want no one excluded. We want to see housing dealt with. Housing is about need. It's about those people who are much needed housing waiting lists, people under housing stress. And when it comes to maintenance, the same applies. I've just been on the campaign trail tonight in Silverstream. Some people dealing with dreadful housing conditions. We want to tackle that right across North Belfast and across Northern Ireland, and we will do that.
The investigative website The Detail reports concerns today that DUP politicians may have brought some pressure to bear on public officials on housing matters. It was discussed in the chamber today as well. Are you concerned some of your colleagues may have overreached themselves?
We are elected to do a job, Mark. If sometimes we're criticised for not doing the job efficiently or effectively enough. Led by Nigel Dodds, our Member of Parliament, we've been lobbying hard to get this issue addressed. We want to see housing addressed in North Belfast, across North Belfast, in an inclusive way, in an equal way, and equity has to prevail. It is about need, it is about demand, and we are about dealing with these issues. Our job is to represent our constituents, and that's simply what we've been doing.
But you don't think any inappropriate pressure was brought to bear?
Absolutely not. Public servants are there to have pressure applied to them by politicians. That's what we've been doing. Our constituents would want us to do no less.
You proposed today's debate. Did you raise the issue because your party colleague, the Minister Nelson McCausland, is under a lot of pressure on the matter?
He's not under pressure. I raised the issue because it is an issue that comes to my office day and daily. It's as I said in the debate today, Mark, in the last election in 2011, housing was the #1 issue on the doorsteps. Housing remains a key issue for the people in North Belfast. No later than this evening, I've picked it up in the doors.
OK, and we'll leave it there. William Humphrey, thanks very much indeed for joining us.